a revolution going on. There is a revolution going on, and it's a glorious, wonderful sight to behold. It's something we haven't seen in a long, long time. It's got nothing to do with party. It's about a group of people, a large group of Republicans, independents, and Democrats in this country who are scared to death with the direction this country's going. The media doesn't get it. My opponent doesn't get it. This is an American, it's a patriotic movement, and it's a movement that wants to hold both parties accountable. With respect to the league and with respect to the students over here, in many ways, this night is so disappointing. For months, folks in this district have had questions for our incumbent congresswoman that she refuses to answer. For months, for at least 3 months, I've asked her to debate me and take direct questions from constituents. There's so much at stake this year. This is one of the most important elections in the last 50 years. We're 14 days out, and we're going to have a 50-minute forum, again, respectfully to the league and the students. It's wonderful to see a packed crowd, but you're all not going to get your questions answered. You've got big, important questions. They need to be answered. But instead, my opponent, Congresswoman Bean, has made it her policy to hide. She's hiding from the voters. I'm a Republican. I'm a proud Republican. But I don't care what party you are. If you can't get in front of the voters and answer direct questions and defend your votes, you do not deserve to be reelected, especially not in a year like this. This is not going to happen tonight. This is not going to happen tonight. My opponent and her enablers in the media are going to script a very carefully controlled, very short evening. We, as constituents in this 8th district, need to respectfully ask of Congresswoman Bean that we take this night and we do it again in a bigger, more vociferous fashion so that she and I and Bill Shore can get in front of 300 of you again and talk about health care, talk about cap and trade, talk about the stimulus. We cannot let this election come with a Congresswoman who will try to go throughout hiding from the voters.
Thank you, Mr. Walsh. Ms. Bean.
Thank you to the League of Women Voters, Grace Lake High School, and particularly our students for hosting, and for all of you attending. It's an honor to serve. I'm Melissa Bean. I first ran for Congress because I felt that families like mine weren't being represented in Washington. As a fiscal conservative and social moderate, I brought to Congress my 20 years of business experience and the common sense concerns of a mom. My priority then and now is to promote economic opportunity and restore the promise of the American dream to middle-class families and businesses. Small businesses, the backbone of our economy, are fearful about falling behind countries like China. Parents worry that our children won't have access to the quality of education, healthcare, environment, and jobs that we've had. Over the last decade, Americans lived through 2 recessions, and wages have dropped while GDP increased. I share the frustrations of the late Zurich dad, who told me that just as his kids' college savings and his own retirement funds finally approached pre-2001 recession levels, the 2007 recession and 2008 financial crisis, both the worst in our lifetime, wiped out all of his gains. To protect the savings of families like his, I helped write and pass historic Wall Street reforms. Lenders will be prohibited from putting people into homes they can't afford, and oversight and transparency will ensure that the type of crisis and bailouts that we suffered won't happen again. To get our economy back on track, I've been a champion for our small businesses who drive growth and job creation. I meet with businesses regularly who've told me their #1 barrier to growth is lack of credit. I co-wrote the Small Business Lending Bill, which became law last month and has already helped community banks lend over $1 billion to over 2,000 small businesses to fuel their success and our nation's recovery. As a fiscal hawk, I remain committed to demanding fiscal responsibility from Congress. My strong record of cutting wasteful spending includes $900 billion I voted against this Congress alone.
Excuse me, Ms. Bean, I'm sorry. Timekeepers, I want you to add on a few seconds. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry. I think perhaps you think you're being quiet, but we can hear you up here. Please, no side conversations. No side conversations. Just listen respectfully to each of the candidates, please. Thank you. Sorry, timekeepers, go ahead. Sorry, Ms. Bean.
I'm proud of my consistent record to cut taxes, including extending all the Bush tax cuts. While results show steady but slow economic recovery, I'm still hearing from struggling families, and they want to know what's ahead. To retain our nation's leadership in the world, we must promote investment, innovation, competitiveness, and fiscal responsibility. America is a resilient nation. Through hard work and innovation, together we can compete and win in the global market by investing in clean, affordable energy in emerging markets, graduating scientists, engineers, and entrepreneurs, and building world-class transportation infrastructure to move best-in-class American-made goods around the globe. I remain a committed centrist, ready to work across the aisle to promote responsible solutions that move America forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bean. Mr. Scher.
Welcome, Grays Lake students. Go Rams, go Knights. Now that we've had our fun, I'm here to tell you each one of you owes $40,000. That's your share of the federal debt. It's going up every second. You've got next to nothing to show for it, and you're not even out of high school. I'm here to help you fix that problem. I will not vote for a deficit budget, period. I will not vote for tax cuts, no matter who they are for, that gives you a deficit budget. I will not vote for spending, no matter what it is for, that gives you budget deficits. And I will not vote for continuing resolutions that lets the government run up debt with business as usual without a budget. Instead, I will leave the federal government to do the best it can with the revenues that it really has under current law, unless and until our Congress gets together and delivers a balanced budget for the President to sign. Now, I wish that was your only problem, but we've got other challenges. In case you haven't noticed, the bottom is dropping out of our economy. Jobs are pouring out faster than our businesses can put them back in. This is a direct result of tax and trade and immigration practices by our federal government that have left you with an economy where our top two exports are dollars and jobs, and our leading imports are cheap labor and debt. I will work to root out these practices and give you an American economy of shared prosperity and opportunity like my parents gave to me. Last but not least, and perhaps our biggest challenge of all, is that our government of the people, by the people, and for the people is being choked by a corrupt system of elections where money talks and the people walk. And two political parties have their hands gripped tightly around democracy's throat. I am here to also help you fix this problem, most of all. I will work to unleash our democracy with a system of free and open elections where parties and money no longer count and our representatives answer to living, breathing people, voters, and no one else. Thank you all for coming. I look forward to hearing your challenging questions.
Thank you, Mr. Scher. Ms. Bean will take the first question first. Each candidate will have 1.5 minutes. Ms. Bean will have the option of a 30-second rebuttal, as will each candidate as they take any question first. And my not very surreptitious little sidebar over there was to talk with the teachers about extending this as we got a late start. Rather than end this forum at 7:45, we're going to try to end a little closer to 8 o'clock. It pushes off our other two candidate forums, but it will give us a little bit more time for this one. So Ms. Bean takes this first question first, and one of our students will present it to us.
Of cutting taxes, but also doing it in a responsible way. Unlike one of my opponents who has supported eliminating the Department of Education, which could affect school funding, certainly, and student loan programs that many families count on, I think that's an irresponsible approach to fiscal responsibility. Education is one of the most important investments we can make